Imagine the heart-wrenching panic of a mother staring at her phone, waiting for a call that never comes. It's every parent's nightmare. Your child vanishes into thin air, swallowed by the shadows of a dangerous world. For Joanie Guthrie, that nightmare became reality on a cold November day in 2018. Her 18-year-old daughter, Samantha, had stormed out after turning legal age, chasing freedom in all the wrong places. But when a cryptic phone call claimed Samantha had been shot and dumped in a trunk, Joanie's world shattered. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a twisted tale involving an abandoned house stained with blood, a killer couple on the loose, and a desperate race against time to stop them from claiming their next victim. What started as a missing person report would unravel into one of the most chilling crimes in Akron, Ohio, a story of betrayal, violence, and the fragile line between life and death. It all began with Joanie's frantic visit to the police station. "I need to file a missing person report for my daughter," she said, her voice trembling. The officer leaned in, notepad ready. "How old is she?" 18, Joanie replied, explaining the horrifying call from the day before. Samantha shot in the head, body tossed in a car trunk. The cops had already checked the address mentioned, 375 Lillian Street, an abandoned eyesore in a rough neighborhood slated for boarding up. They found nothing, no blood, no signs of struggle. "To be honest, I think someone's playing a prank on you," the officer said dismissively. But Joanie wasn't buying it. Samantha had been spiraling, drugs, bad crowds, frequenting derelict houses like the one on Lillian. She provided a description, distinctive butterfly tattoo on her right arm, and dropped the name, Danny Hamby, the last person seen with her. The police posted a missing person alert, but skepticism lingered. Then, the next morning, a breakthrough. A man named John Marshall contacted them, claiming he was there that fateful night. In a dimly lit interrogation room, Marshall sat across from Detective Ross, his eyes darting nervously. "I was at the house on Lillian," he began. Samantha had arrived via Uber, paid for by her dad, a detail the cops quickly verified with the father. Marshall painted a vivid picture. He'd run into Samantha and a guy named Yoshi on his way back from buying cigarettes. Soon after, Danny Hamby showed up at the back door with a woman named Tony and a tall black man he thought was William. The group split, some upstairs in Jody's room. Jody, Kim, Kate, Samantha. Danny and Tony joined them, while William stayed below. Marshall's story turned dark fast. No yelling at first, just muffled music. Then Samantha bolted downstairs, looking panicked, a bloody nose or busted lip. She darted to the basement, but chaos erupted. Minutes later, she raced back up, Danny hot on her heels. By the time she hit the fourth or fifth stair, Marshall said, his voice dropping, he shot her in the back of the head. The room went silent. Samantha crumpled, making gurgling sounds, death rattles. Marshall called them. She was still breathing, barely, shot from close range with a Smith & Wesson MP40. Yoshi and William barked orders, helping drag her body to a car outside. The house fell into pandemonium, but they cleaned up afterward. Detectives listened, hearts pounding. This wasn't just a disappearance, it was murder. But could they trust Marshall? The house had been searched, clean. Still, armed with specifics, they returned. Body cams captured the tension as officers crept up the creaky stairs, guns drawn. "Police! Anyone here? Hands up!" The place was a wreck, trash-strewn floors, graffiti walls. But then a spot below a crack, dry blood. More spatters emerged, missed in the first sweep. Bullet casings matched the MP40. Marshall was credible. Danny and Tony were now prime suspects in a homicide, with a web of accomplices. Jody, Kim, Kate, Yoshi, William. Time was critical. The killers had fled, possibly hunting witnesses. Barely days later, panic struck again. A homeowner called 911. A terrified young woman burst through his back door, screaming for help. "They're chasing me with guns." It was Kimberly, one of Marshall's named witnesses. Shaking in the cruiser, she blurted fragments. A black guy in a hoodie, white guys, guns. "Who are they?" the officer pressed. Kim hesitated. She was from out of town, visiting a friend, Jody Harrison on Lillian Street. The connection hit like a gut punch. Was this witness intimidation? A cleanup job? If so, the body count could rise. The net tightened. Another tip, Danny and Tony at a parking lot, bragging about a recent kill, pulling guns on someone. Cops swarmed. Step out of the car, ma'am. Hands up. Tony froze. Danny complied slowly. A pat-down revealed needles, meth, and, chillingly, a loaded gun on Tony. I only have it because my mom insisted, she stammered. No warrants yet, but the pieces fit. Back at the station, interrogations began. Danny slouched in the chair, unaware of the murder charge looming. You have the right to remain silent, Detective Ross read. Danny invoked his lawyer immediately. I ain't saying nothing. But detectives probed gently, swabbing for DNA. Tony, separated, fidgeted. The air thickened with unspoken accusations. Had they killed Samantha? Where's her body? The web of suspects, Jody, Kim, Yoshi, loomed large. Each could crack the case or become the next target. As days turned to weeks, the investigation deepened. More witnesses surfaced, corroborating Marshall's tale. Kim's chase wasn't random. Whispers of threats circulated among the Lillian crowd. Police pieced together Samantha's final hours, a drug-fueled gathering gone lethal over a dispute. Maybe money, maybe betrayal. Danny and Tony, a volatile couple, allegedly snapped. But without a body, doubts lingered. Was Samantha dead or hidden away? The abandoned house on Lillian became infamous. A murder house haunted by bloodstains and echoes of gunfire. Detectives scoured it again, finding fibers, fingerprints linking the suspects. Yoshi and William were tracked down, their stories fracturing under pressure. Jody admitted to the upstairs chaos but claimed ignorance of a shot. Kate vanished briefly, heightening suspense. Another victim? In a breakthrough, phone records tied Danny to the scene. The Uber receipt confirmed timelines. But the smoking gun? Ballistics matched Tony's pistol to the casings. Interrogations intensified. Danny cracked first, admitting a fight but denying murder. It was an accident, he muttered through his lawyer. Tony sobbed, pointing fingers at William. The truth emerged piecemeal. Samantha survived the initial shot, barely. Dragged to the car, she was dumped in a remote area, left to die. Search teams found her remains weeks later. Butterfly tattoo confirming the horror. The couple had fled, plotting to silence witnesses like Kim. Trials dragged on, suspense building with each testimony. Marshall's eyewitness account sealed fates. Danny and Tony faced life sentences for murder, kidnapping. Accomplices got lesser charges for aiding. Joanie's grief never faded, but justice brought closure. The Lillian house was demolished, erasing the physical scars. But the story lingers, a cautionary tale of how one wrong turn can lead to unimaginable darkness. In a world where danger hides in abandoned shadows, Samantha's fate reminds us, trust your instincts, hold loved ones close. Because sometimes, the monsters aren't strangers, they're the ones you let in the door.